Alright, I think it is very important that we have a better understanding of our immune system. So we're going to have a quick look at all the cells that play a role in fighting pathogens when they enter our system. First of all, we have the natural killer cell, and this patrols your body using its receptors to find any of your cells with abnormalities, and so it can destroy any infected cell as soon as it finds it. Now, other important cells that make up your immune system's first responders are neutrophils and macrophages. Now, both these cells release cytokines, which are responsible for inflammation. And another very important cell that makes up your innate immunity is the dendritic cell. Now, all these cells are phagocytes. These first responder cells are very important because the way they fight back against pathogens is with something called phagocytosis. And that is pretty much when the cell engulfs a pathogen and starts to digest it, and then the debris it releases is harmless to us. And now this brings us to what dendritic cells do, because when they're doing phagocytosis, they do something different, which is very important because you see, dendritic cells are what they call antigen presenting cells, APCs, because when a dendritic cell performs phagocytosis on a pathogen, for example a virus, it then will take an antigen from the pathogen, so a protein displayed by the virus, and then present it on the dendritic cell's membrane. Now this is very important for when it comes to the adaptive immunity. Now, with your innate immunity responding to pathogens straight away, your adaptive immunity can take a little bit of time. And when you see what happens, you understand why. Now, I'd like to introduce you to your T cells and B cells. Now, these are known as lymphocytes, so it should be no surprise that you'll find them in your lymph nodes. And so, do you remember our friend the dendritic cell? This is why it's so important, because it makes its way to the lymph node, presenting the antigen to find the corresponding lymphocyte, because you see, each antigen has its own antibody, which is made by a specific cell amongst the billions of cells inside our body. So that's why it can take a bit of time to find the right cells. So what happens when they finally do find the right T cells? Well, it'll start multiplying and you'll end up with your cytotoxic T cells, your killer T cells, and their job is to go out and find any infected cells with that particular pathogen and destroy it. Kind of like the natural killer cell, but just for any cells infected by this particular pathogen. And then you also have your helper T cells, and they'll go activating other cells, most importantly the B cells, which will then become plasma B cells, which make the antibodies, and memory B cells. And that's what can help protect us from future infections from the same virus. Now, what's so important about these antibodies? Well, like I said, each antigen has its corresponding antibody. And so when your body releases the antibodies, they'll find the antigens on the pathogen, latching onto it, making it so the pathogen can no longer infect your cells, and making it easier for phagocytes to find the pathogen and devour it and get rid of it. And so that's how your immune system works to keep you safe.